Hi, Sujai here, and I was thinking about my mother and some of the things that we've done in our lives, and I finally understood an event in our life a whole lot better. It was 1968, and my mother and brothers delivered the most Washington Post newspapers of anyone and won a contest, a free trip for two to Miami Beach. But my father didn't want to go, and I never understood why, but at the end of the story, I'll tell you what the real reason probably was. But my father didn't want to go, so he said, Barbara, you can take the girls, and I'll stay here with the boys, because if something bad happens, we need to have somebody who's here to be able to take care of the kids. I didn't understand what he meant, but it was 1968. Martin Luther King had been assassinated in April of 1968. And President Johnson then signed the civil rights bills because people were rioting, and he realized that segregation couldn't go on any longer. So when we won the free trip to Miami, come to find out, we were the first Black people to integrate that hotel, eat at some of those restaurants. We were among the first Black people to integrate Miami Beach. I didn't know it at the time. I was 11 years old. But I did notice that when we went into the hotel, the Black bellmen and maids and everybody were looking at us like, what are they doing here? The white people were looking at us like we were strange, and I just thought it was because, we won a contest, and they thought that was a wonderful thing. When we got to the counter, the woman's like, what am I supposed to do? And she went to get the manager, and the manager said, they won the contest, they have the rooms, give them their keys. And she was shocked. But we got to stay on Miami Beach in one of the best hotels and enjoyed the life down there. We went on a one-day cruise. We went to see the pink flamingos. We went all over the place and had a great time. We even sat at the lunch counter of a carryout type place, and we sat there almost every day for a little while. And I'm not sure if the people would serve us, but I do remember a white guy came over and bought us some drinks since we were sitting there every day. And he said, it's really great that you're sitting here now. It adds atmosphere to the place. He was telling jokes. I didn't realize what he really meant. So, my life is interesting. My mother won a free trip for two to Miami Beach, knowing it was segregated. She wanted my father to go down there with her. My father was light, bright, darn near white, and she thought that, that would be an interesting way to integrate Miami Beach while having a vacation with her husband. My father realized that they might not be very happy with that situation. So he decided he would stay home with the boys to keep them safe, and that my mother could take her two little girls over there, and hopefully everything would be fine. And it was. We had a great time. I know my mother knew what she was doing. She was the head of the Young Democrats at the time. And the Young Democrats in Washington, D.C. were doing new things. She was one of the first Black presidents of the Young Democrats. Some of the men weren't happy with the fact that a woman was the first Black person to do some of these things. But who has taken the initiative throughout history to make change? Women. We stand up for what's right, and it works for us too, because as women, men are less likely to harm us than they would a man sometimes. But I find it amazing that I was 11 years old, integrated Miami Beach, and had no idea that's what my amazing mother was doing.